Great, great. So we'll call the meeting. It's 9:05 a.m. Thank you to all our members, and it looks like we have one member of the public on. Appreciate everybody coming on this morning. And Ms. Jones, would you mind doing roll call for us? Oh, I think you're muted still, Ms. Jones.
I don't know what meeting I'm on. Okay, Member Bitzer, are you present?
I am indeed.
Thank you. Member Cates.
Yes.
Member Duval hasn't joined us yet. Member Garcia, we know, is going to be absent. Member Honker?
I am here.
Oh, good. Vice Chair Trujillo Davis? I see you.
I'm here. Sorry, I couldn't find my mute button on this.
That's okay. Chair Sweeney?
Yes, present.
We have a quorum with two members absent.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jones. And with that, could we look at our agenda? And I'd love to entertain a motion for approval, or if folks have suggestions or revisions.
I move we approve the agenda.
Thank you, Member Hunker.
I would second that.
Thank you, Member Cates. Appreciate that. With that, I'm looking around. I don't see anybody raising their hand for any more discussion. With that, Ms. Jones, would you mind doing a roll call vote on our agenda motion?
Yes, ma'am. To approve the agenda, Member Bitzer, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Member Cates?
Yes.
I'm going to skip the two members who are absent until I see one of them sign in. But moving to Member Honker, how do you vote?
Yes.
Vice Chair Trujillo Davis?
Yes.
Chair Sweeney?
Yes. All
Madam
right.
Chair, the motion passes.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Appreciate that. Next, we have on our agenda item number 3, which is the approval of the January 28, 2022 meeting minutes. Members, I think Ms. Jones emailed us those meeting minutes. Have you been able to review them? And if so, do you have any changes? If not, I'd love to entertain a motion.
I'll move we approve the minutes.
Thank you, Member Honker.
I'll second. I'll second. Yeah.
Thank you, Member Bitzer, for your second. And if no further discussion, Ms. Jones, would you mind doing a roll call vote on our meeting minutes?
Yes. Member Bitzer, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
And Member Cates?
Yes.
And Member Honker?
Yes.
Vice Chair Trujillo Davis?
Yes.
And Chair Sweeney?
Yes.
Thank you. The minutes are approved.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Appreciate that. And item number 4, it's the discussion regarding continuation of our ozone deliberations starting on April 11th, 2022. With that, I think I'm going to look to Ms. Solaria and Ms. Jones. I think we just wanted to, please correct me, but I think we just wanted to clarify some of the logistics that we had talked about. I know we had 2 long days of hearing, and there were just some details that I just wanted to make sure we got board input on some of the details of the logistics. Ms. Solaria, would you mind sharing some of those items we wanted to discuss?
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good morning, board members. So we had left the close of, or we recessed deliberations and had selected them to continue commencing on April 11th. And there had been some discussion at the time of possibly having the board members meet physically in person, given the current COVID situation at the time and and I think it's pretty much about the same today. So Pam has done some homework in terms of finding potential spaces for the board to meet for those deliberations. So I think I really would wanted to open up to the board, if that's the direction they indeed wanted to take, that we would go ahead and book one of these physical locations. We would notice in the notice for those deliberations that the board is meeting just board members at that location, and then an access link for the public to tune in would be provided in the notice as well. And then I did want to turn it over to Pam to talk about those options for spaces, as well as how the hybrid technology would work, just because I have not done a fully hybrid meeting like this. So I wanted to make sure that everything would be in place so that the public could appropriately tune in, hear the members' discussions. And also, I believe some members as well had intended to attend that because of their own schedules, we're going to have to attend virtually themselves anyway. So I want to be able to make sure that the public can observe the proceedings, and that the members who wanted to attend remotely would be able to participate effectively. So I'll turn it over to Pam.
Thank you, Council. Yes, I have secured 2 different conference rooms in the Runnels building here in Santa Fe. And those are, based on what I understood from our discussions at the last meeting, I understood that that would be board members, council, and court reporter and myself present in the room. And so the both rooms are boardrooms that will hold anywhere from 15 to 30 people, depending on how far we want to stretch out. And it'll be tables with connections so you could bring laptops. The audio visual capability will be, again, through a camera, through the WebEx link. So we will set it up as a WebEx event where board members who are either calling in or who are present can speak, be heard, be seen. Any other member of the public who wishes to sign on and view the deliberations can do that. They won't have the capability to speak or raise their hand or in any way participate except for listen. So I've got both of them. I've got both of these rooms reserved depending on how much room you want, and I can let one of them go and keep one, and we can begin the notice process. It's up to you.
Thank you, Ms. Jones, and thank you, Ms. Solaria, for that detail. So, board members, I just wanted to make sure that we were all on the same page with the logistics. For myself, I know when we had this discussion and then we closed our deliberations, I was thinking, oh my gosh, I have all my computer stuff that I have, the electronic files. I don't know if other board members do that too. So I just wanted to make sure we had enough space, and I know we've been virtual for a while, so I just wanted to, make sure that you all were also comfortable with the logistics. So I'll open it up to our board and see what your thoughts are. Yeah, Member
Chair
Tate?
Sweeney, I'm going to be out of town on a work trip, so I'll be kind of tuning in and out. So,
Great.
Whatever y'all want to do is okay with me.
I appreciate that, Member Cates, and thank you so much for your input. Other board members? Okay.
I'm all in for in-person meeting, and at some point I'm going to be on travel as well, so I'll go on to Zoom also. So I think the hybrid model is going to be great.
Okay, thank you, Member Bitzer. And yes, Vice Chair Trujillo Davis.
I think the hybrid meeting's a really great idea. I like that it allows people from different portions of the state who may not be able to travel in to also participate. But I think it's really important that as a board we start moving towards some normalcy and in being able to convene in the same place. So I fully support this model that we're looking at.
Okay, thank you. And yes, Ms. Solaria.
Yeah, I didn't want to preempt anyone else's question, but just while I have Pam and everyone else, and it's kind of hard for me to visualize it without having seen the space, but I understand that the board, essentially a camera will be viewing all of the board members. Board members won't be logging in on their individual laptops while if they're physically present. So how will they see fellow board members that log on? Will it just be audibly, or could we have? I mean, this could be stuff that could be worked out. I just want to make sure that there's a capability, because I don't want, a board member who's intent on participating to be able to do that effectively.
Council Soloria, it will be just like this meeting, where board members who choose to not come to Santa Fe it'll be fully functional. We'll be able to see them. They will be able to see us, hear us. They will be able to participate. It'll be just like this meeting now.
Those of us who, I'm sorry, Member Honker, I saw your hand.
Yeah, it's okay.
Maybe same question, but will those of us in the room be viewing things on our laptops, or will there be a big screen somewhere?
Thank you, Member Honker.
I'm unless you direct me otherwise, I was assuming everyone would just be on their laptops. I can certainly provide paper copies or something for the in-person folks to look at. But I think everything will be just as though we were just like this morning, where we will have the ability to access our electronic files and see them on our own individual laptops.
Yes,
And then we
Member
can share, we'll have the share screen capability if someone wants to flash something up to talk about, like if the hearing officer wants to come on and show the rule or something.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Member Bitzer?
I was just going to suggest that those of us who are planning to attend in person bring our laptops so that we have the usual plan A, plan B in the room. We'll be able to see each other and hear each other better.
That's kind of what I thought everybody was going to do.
Thank you, Member Bitzer. Ms. Jones? Yes, Vice Chair Trujillo Davis?
Will we have any issue with sound with all of us being in the same space? And do you have any suggestions on how we manage that?
Yes, Ms. Solaria?
Well, this was the kind of the crux of my question, because I have tuned in, for example, to the water quality, their triennial review deliberations, where there was like a dais and the board members were sitting in, and there was a camera recording them and picking up their conversation. So the individual members themselves, as far as I was aware, as a public person tuning in, they weren't each on an individual WebEx at their laptop. They were essentially being casted from the room as a group. And I think that from my observation of those deliberations, that, I mean, I could effectively hear as a listener. So I think if we can manage that, that's fine for the public. But what would a member, like, I don't know if that's like a two-way street that would work for a member tuning in, that we would be able to hear that member and see that member, or if we just kind of have to compromise and we would only hear them. That's what I'm not clear about.
Right.
Okay. You would be able to see them and hear them if you had your laptop in front of you and you had the WebEx open, much like now. If you recall how we set up the original couple of days of deliberations, and the public was on one of our WebEx event channels, and then we had full capability to see and hear each other, that's how we'll be setting it up. The WQCC was a much larger room, and we didn't use the in-house technology. It was unavailable that day, so it was just through a laptop. And there was a member who was not present, and he was able to be fully functional. And those who had laptops could see and hear him. And those of us, we were able to work that way. So that's how it'll be set up this time.
Thank you for that explanation. Vice Chair Trujillo Davis, and then we'll go to Member Hunker.
Actually, I think Pam answered my question. Thank you very much.
Okay, Member Hunker.
Yeah, it seems like the audio could be a problem if we've each got our speakers on our laptop going. So we may need to use headphones or just have one set of speakers in the room. Otherwise, there may be feedback and, phase problems with echoes and stuff.
Yeah,
I'm
I will.
hoping that the audio, the technology within those conference rooms we're going to utilize that. I wasn't able to utilize the one at the Roundhouse for the WQCC, so it was all through laptops. But I'm hoping that we'll be able to use the audiovisual capabilities in that conference room.
Okay.
Right. And I just wanted to, and certainly I'll work with Pam offline to make sure that we get this all set up appropriately. But I think the audio issue, like the point of the board members meeting in person is to be able to have that sort of normal colloquy, right? And I would want them to be able to do that without just being in a room all staring at their computer screens, because that's effectively what we're already doing now. So I can work with Pam to figure out how that's all going to work. I would suggest that we notice it. We're coming up on the 10 days where we have to publish notice of this meeting for deliberations. The link is going to be the link regardless. So if something falls through and the technology isn't there and the board, there really wouldn't be a point in the board members coming physically, I think we could leave that as the option. I could phrase it as the board may be meeting at a physical location, but all other members of the public will be tuning in or will have access regardless, since that's how it was always going to be. We were never going to have members of the public or parties show up somewhere. So I can craft that to give us that flexibility, and then just wait to hear from us on the specific room. Hopefully, I'm hopeful that we actually can get that worked out before I publish notice, just so it's solid. But any other direction, obviously, that the board wants for Pam and I, I'm all ears.
Thank you, Ms. Laurie. Vice Chair Trujillo Davis.
I would like to suggest that maybe we be there early to get everything set up and make sure we don't have any issues. And I think the meeting starts at 9. So if everybody's agreeable to it, I say we get there a half hour, 45 minutes early and see if we can make sure we're good to go.
Sure. I think that's a great suggestion. I know there's always, just like we had at the start of the deliberations, little hiccups, technology hiccups here and there. So I think that's a great idea, Vice Chair Trujillo Davis. Yeah, and just to share a little bit, I've been on a couple of open meetings and hybrid meetings over the last few months, and I think and again with you, Ms. Jones, and Ms. Ilaria, there, I've seen the state have like a big old screen so we can all see everybody, and there's also the microphone issues, the audio issues, as Member Hunker and others have mentioned. That might be the feedback loops and so forth. We might need to address those. But and if you have any questions, I think to Ms. Loria's point, one of the suggestions was, why we're going to this is also to have that back and forth and see each other's and not looking at our computers. And so I think that would be helpful. But for those members like member Cates and member Bitzer, we're hoping to have you all join us just like we're seeing you guys today. All right. If there's no other discussion, so Ms. Lauria, Ms. Jones, I don't think there's any other discussion. So we hope we'll get everything sort of firmed up before we have our 10-day notice, right? Okay. All right. Appreciate that. And members, if there's no other discussion, we'll go to our next agenda item, which is the discussion regarding the next meeting on April 22nd, 2022. Know if we have our calculators available, but is there any other, do we have agenda items for that day, for that meeting?
I don't yet, Chair Sweeney.
Okay, great, because I didn't recall seeing any. So on that, members, yes, Member Honker.
I just want to say I will not be able to make that meeting. I'll be out of the country and in the Galapagos, so hopefully. So
Nice.
I will
Oh,
miss-
no, sir. You need to tune in.
I think I'd be out of cell range.
Wonderful. Well, I hope you have a wonderful trip, Member Hunker, and we'll miss you that day. Member Bitzer's giving you a preview there, what you can expect to be wearing.
Take me with you.
Yes. So with that one, are we looking at still doing the Zoom or in person? I think is part of the discussion. Am I correct on that, Miss Laria, Miss Jones?
Yes, I hadn't thought of that, but you brought it up, and I think that that is a good discussion point.
Great. What do members think? And I know we're missing 2 members this morning. Still don't see them on the line, but are we gonna do in person, hybrid again? What are you feeling? Yes, Member Trujillo Davis?
I think we should do it in person. We're moving that way, but I do like the idea of keeping the hybrid thing kind of going for a while. So
Okay,
what I think.
thank you, Vice Chair Trujillo Davis. Others, Member Bitzer, Member Cates, what are your thoughts?
I'll second that thought that we should pursue the hybrid.
Okay,
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's a good transition approach. Yeah.
okay, so Ms. Jones and, yes, Vice Chair Trujillo Davis.
I just want to note that I like the transparency that the hybrid model brings. So
Thank you, Vice Chair Trujillo Davis. So with that, I know that's going to be more logistics for that meeting. Is that possible, Ms. Jones and Ms. Solaria?
Sure. And actually, if
just-
this is the way we seem to think we're going, I will try to find the same location for the next succeeding meetings so that we don't have to bop around the city.
Thank you, Ms. Jones. Yes, Ms. Solaria.
Just to clarify that, again, it will just when we use the word hybrid, it means the board members, myself, and the administrators will be meeting, and then all the public will be tuning in via the internet.
Yes, that's what I understand. Members of the board, is that your understanding as well? Okay, I see a lot of head nods. So thank you for that, Ms. Solaria. I know all these details are important. I appreciate you clarifying that for us. All right, so we'll have a meeting if agenda items come up on April 22nd. And it'll be a hybrid. Thank you so much, members. We don't need a motion on that, do we? Okay.
No, you're fine, Chair Sweeney.
Thank you, Ms. Solaria. Great. Well, with that, we're on our next agenda item, which is public comment. Ms. Jones, do you know if we have any members of the public that want to provide comments this morning?
I haven't been approached by anyone who wants to make general public comment.
And I think now, Chair Sweeney, it's a good time to just make a second announcement that there is a scheduled rulemaking hearing in EIB 2156. That rule hearing will commence after the conclusion of this regular meeting. I have provided the Zoom link for the rules hearing in the chat. So to the extent members of the public are on this regular meeting to give public comment for that hearing, please come see us in the Zoom platform via the link that I provided in the chat. So that's all.
Thank you, Ms. Hilaria. All right, see a thumbs up there from one of the other participants. Yeah, so we're getting to that point, and I think if we don't have any public comments on this, we're on item number 7, which is the EIB 21-56 in the matter of proposed amendments to 20.3.20 NMAC rule hearing and possible action adopting rules. And so at this point, Ms. Hilaria, Ms. Jones, I think is the time to go over to that link. Is that correct?
Yes, and I'll go ahead and make another advisory that we will not be returning back to this WebEx platform. The notice for the rulemaking stated that the board could, if it so choose, deliberate right after that rules hearing. So we will stay on the Zoom platform. We will not be returning. The board will not be returning to this WebEx platform. So again, anyone in attendance who wants to stay with the board, please use that Zoom link that was provided in the chat and was also provided in the public notice for the rules hearing.
Thank you, Ms. Hilaria. So with that, and our hearing officer will be Member Honker. And so we'll see everybody on Zoom here in a minute.